Everyone is calling, a JoeyC is calling.
Hi everyone.
Hi everybody.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now if you don't already know me and you're new here, hello, hi, my name is Joey. Last name starting with C, hence JoeyC. Sorry, let me adjust the camera real quick. As you can see by today's thumbnail, we're gonna be talking about conspiracy theories toward Halloween, which by the time this comes out, which I mean, I'm filming this today as of Tuesday, well, you get the gist, right? But obviously I'm posting a Halloween video, or a video meant for Halloween, coming out during Thanksgiving time. Why it took so long to film this? I don't know. Just to be quite honest, lots of procrastination has been going on. So this week I'm just focusing a lot more on catch up with any videos that I still need to make. I know I need to make like at least one video. I don't know if I'll get to that. That might come out next month because it's an Animal Crossing video and it's like a little skit Animal Crossing video too, and that's gonna take a long time to edit and do all those voices for it. Hold on, I just got the text. So now I got a text. Now I gotta pause the damn thing. I'm back. Okay. Anyways, obviously, with given time, because this video is supposed to come out today, and obviously I had lots of delays.
Oh, beautiful. Look at me.
Yesterday, so I couldn't film yesterday. And if I would have filmed yesterday, then I would have had this video like out, being like already edited. But you know, things happen, and I can't really control that. But since it's Halloween, you could tell by the bucket, I got you a snack for this video today. So let's see, take a pic. Okay, we got some granola bars, or some fruit snacks. Now, which one you want? Okay, you want a fruit snack? I'll set it right, it's set for you right here. Okay, which one we got? Regular peanut butter or dark chocolate chunk? Dark chocolate chunk? Okay. Let's put that there in your basket that was from a long time ago. Okay, now there's more snacks here if you want them. You know, let me know for the video. Okay. Now, given the amount of time I've had to film, obviously my conspiracy theories are not the best. My best one probably being the world ending and how the world ended in 2012 theory. But all of my conspiracy theories are pretty much like really tame and well known. But if y'all want a part 2, I'll have some more time to deep dive and research into all these conspiracy theories, because oh my goodness, my hair, because I know one more time I can have a better conspiracy theory video. Just, I feel like this is such a tame one, and I really was like wanting to be spooky scary, but since it's not really Halloween, I don't really have to fall into that theme anymore. So all I have really is just conspiracy theories that really just make you think and be like, you might be right. Okay, so starting off, let's see, which one should we start off with? We're gonna start off with, hold on. We're gonna start off with the invisible string theory. Now, obviously, well known, probably tame, most of you guys probably already know this, but if you don't know what the invisible string theory is, basically you and another person are connected, like your soulmate, and connected. So like, let's see, you have a invisible string here that goes all the way out to here to some other person, you know, and that person is your soulmate. And when you start meeting a bunch of times, coincidentally, that's like no coincidence, like it's that invisible string pulling you guys together, and that's how you meet your soulmate. Now, do I really believe this theory?
No. I said no.
I mean, it makes sense, but I don't really have a lot of belief into that one. I'm like, I can see how it could be true, but then I mean, I just don't believe that much into it, you know. Now, next up, what we have is deja vu. Now, obviously, we all know what deja vu is, right? And if you don't, okay. So, there's been many theories about deja vu. So, I have, obviously, 3 deja vu theories, because there's 3 different topics. There's parallel lives, parallel universes, past lives, and simulation. Because the people who believe you live in a simulation, they take deja vu, they take it and they run with it. They're like, bye.
Bye, bitch.
Anyways, so the theory with past life is that it's actually memories from your past life. Like you remember it, and so when you remember something and think it happens, it's actually a memory from your past life. Now that's number 1 for deja vu. Number 2 is, why am I feeling all weird? Number 2 is that there, obviously I feel like most people believe there are parallel universes and all that, like multiverses, like in another universe I could be like this or this, and then, you know, all of those infinite possibilities. But there's a theory that when you have deja vu, it's actually that parallel universe, and this universe is syncing up for a brief moment. So like you could remember something from the parallel universe that didn't actually happen yet in this universe. So like kind of the parallel universe was the future. You get what I mean? Okay. Last one is, what is a simulation? The universe is a simulation, right? Life is whatever. I can't remember the exact wording for it, but you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. Get down, you're too tall. But obviously, the theory with deja vu, how connects the simulation, is that deja vu is actually errors in the simulation that happens. So like when you have deja vu, it's actually an error, and that's in the simulation. Now, I don't know if I really believe the whole simulation part for this one, but I do definitely really believe. I feel like Half-Life, one of the parallel universes, because Half-Life got to my head first, then parallel universes, but I believe both of them, and not the simulation one. Now, for our next theory, now this is what I heard. I don't know if there's an exact name for it, but the theory is that, you know how you never really see fruit trees like anymore, unless you buy some like fruit, I don't know, but like in parks you never really see fruit trees and all that. So the theory goes that that the government purposefully does not, allegedly the government purposely does not put out fruit trees, because that way the homeless can't pick the fruits off and eat them. And also bees, obviously they take pollen, and you know they have to pollinate the flowers from the fruit trees. But since there's a whole bunch of bees in parks, sometimes it's bees in parks, they go to the surrounding trees. And when they go to eat when they go to pollinate those trees, all the pollen doesn't go nowhere because it has nowhere to go because it has no fruit. You know what I mean? You probably do. So since these trees don't have fruit and the pollen can't go nowhere to pollinate the fruit, flowers, whatever, the pollen just stays in the tree, and then the pollen eventually leaves from out the tree, the male trees. I guess they're called male trees or whatever, the ones that don't have fruit and all that. So the pollen leaves the male trees, gets into the air, and that's why we have allergies. And then that's how the government makes my money, is because you buy over-the-counter allergy medicine and all that. And, basically just another way to make money. I mean, I can kind of see that it does make sense. Even if it's true or not, I still think it makes very much sense. I believe this because it makes lots of sense to me. Right? But, I could be wrong. The person who came up with this, they could be wrong too, Like I said, these are all conspiracy theories. Like the biggest conspiracy theories why it takes so long to make these videos. Who said that? Anyways. Anyway. Okay. So this next theory, it might be well known. I think it's pretty well known, but it's the broken bone theory. How if you never broken a bone, it's because in your past life, I think it was, you suffered a lot of physical, what was it? Like a lot of physical trauma, but goodness, wow. I lost my flow state, guys. I can't. Okay, I'm back. I re-entered that flow. Okay, so basically the broken bone theory is that if you've never broken a bone, you're meant to experience not physical, but I was gonna say physical. You're meant to experience emotional and spiritual pain and hardships. So like if you've never broken a bone, but you've had a lot of emotional pain and hardships and journeys, that you're just basically adding on to the theory. But if you've broken a bone and all that, you're meant to experience physical pain more than emotional pain. That's the whole thing. Now this one, I think I've heard another thing. I could be totally wrong. I could be just making up stuff from memory. But I remember another thing saying how you had in the past life you suffered a lot of pain, like a lot of physical pain. So in this life, your body was made your soul made a new body or whatever that was made to be tough and not have a lot of physical pain. But then because of that, that's what leads into the emotional pain. That's what I remember from something. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. We all know climate change, right? I hope so. With all this pollution and everything, climate change. Glaciers melting, all that, So this next day is that all of our seasons, instead of them being in the regular days, how I can't remember which hemisphere this is. Okay, obviously right now it's still technically fall. It's still technically fall season, but during the beginning of the fall months, it felt like summer, and now it's starting to feel like kind of fall, winter-ish. So the theory is because of climate change, a lot of our seasons are actually moved back. So So like winter comes later, summer, spring comes later, which causes summer to come later, which could explain why it's been hot during most of the fall, which could actually be our summer, and why it's just now starting to get cold because this is the internet. I'm not gonna say where I live, of course, obviously, but where I'm placed, it just was raining for the past few weeks. So, and it's starting to be fall, almost winter time, so it is starting to get cold, and it definitely is getting colder. So obviously December is a winter month. If we're going based off months, December is a winter month. But if we're going based off like actual hemispheres, days or whatever, where our winter right now hasn't started until December 22nd, I think, our winter solstice. But I'd personally like to believe December is just winter, because it really is. December, January, February, winter. Now, the way the weather's been acting and how it's been getting cold, I don't really believe. Like this, I just found out this day today. I don't really kind of believe it, but then I'm like 50-50 with it, because fall it was still like super hot for the fall months, and it should be like cold, wintry leaves falling everywhere. Like almost winter, but it's hot for fall, and it's just not really getting cold when it's time for winter. So since it's getting cold when it's time for winter, I'm like, that's what's making me not believe this theory. But because of what happened in fall, that's what's making me believe this theory. So I'm like 50-50. Okay, now to get into our big theory of this episode. Well, it's conspiracy theories episode video, which is allegedly the world ended in 2012. Okay, so I don't know where to start with this one, because I have like things that connect to each other. Okay, so the theory is that Earth got stuck. Obviously the world ended in 2012. So it comes out, we got sucked up in a black hole during that time, and right now we're currently in that black hole. But something that kind of ties into that theory that I found out was, I think it was, don't quote me on this, I think it was CERN or whatever. I think all I know is something about a particle accelerator, and these two scientists, maybe particle accelerator, maybe called CERN, because I just saw something about that recently, and I kind of tied into it. But this particle accelerator, particle accelerator, I think it was, I don't know what kind of machine it was, something, it created a mini black hole, and that mini black hole actually sucked us up. And the theory is that we all actually died in that universe, but our consciousness collectively just slipped into another universe and like overtook that universe, I guess. And because of that, this leads into the next theory. And because we all went into that alternate universe that is the one that we currently are in now, it is said that is why we have Mandela effects, obviously. How in the past, this happened, this was like this, but now all of a sudden it's different. Obviously, we all know Mandela effects. But then I saw another Mandela effect theory. And allegedly, sorry, I'm getting too distracted with this damn toothpick. I don't know why I'm even fidgeting with a toothpick, to be quite honest with you. So the theory goes, allegedly, that Mandela effects are basically things to basically a test to see how much the government can change history right before our eyes. And I'm like, wait. I mean, I don't really believe this one. I mean, it would make sense if it was true, but obviously it's a conspiracy theory, so we don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, that's what just counts as conspiracy theories. It could be true, it could be not. It could not be true, But I like the alternate 2012 version of this. It's kind of interesting to think about how we could. Oh, hold on. Another thing that just came to mind was that this thing or whatever, CERN or whatever, that's what it could be called. Don't quote me on this. Hey, I'm almost finishing with this video, but if you wanted a snack, you can always I have a whole bunch here. And I was thinking I just want to snack for this little end part, right before I finish speaking and all that. So, obviously, the granola bars. You want another granola bar? Yeah, okay. Which one? We got peanut butter, chocolate cup, or we got chocolate chip. So, real chocolate chip, it says. Okay. You want chocolate chip? Okay. Let me set that right down there for you. Now, here's the food pack, of course. JoeyC, enjoy. Take your snack. This is my Halloween gift to you. So put that in your Halloween basket. Or, guess just eat this until Halloween's over, but it's the thought that counts. Okay. Now, let's go back to where I was before I interrupted myself. I was reactivated CERN or whatever. That's what causes all the Mandela effects and all that. And so, that's how people born after 2012 recall a bunch of Mandela effects and memories. Now, you all know Mandela effects, right? And obviously I'll show you one, like Pikachu, how I personally remember having a black thing at the end of his tail, but I guess it never did. I'm like, wait, but since this thing was reactivated, but what confuses me, if this was reactivated, wouldn't it have just taken us into another different universe? If it were to make another black hole, I don't know. That part, it doesn't really make sense to me. I can't really wrap my head around it. Oh, I have one more bonus there that I wasn't even gonna mention by now. But I think it still would be nice to mention to end this off, a little bonus. So this one, this one might just, I don't know, it's kind of weird to think about. The theory is called the egg theory, and with this theory, it comes out we're all just the same person living a different life, and that's kind of really weird to think about. And since we all live lives, that's where reincarnation comes from. So the theory is that we're just one big spiritual being, and the universe galaxy is like your egg. And since we're all one big spiritual being, that spiritual being lives a whole bunch of different lives, which comes into my life by JoeyC. Sorry, I just had to cut that. It comes into my life, for life, and how we all just basically are the same being. We're all the same being. That's part living a life. We're all the same spiritual being living different lives. And the theory is that once it's lived all of these lives and matured and grown, it'll hatch and become the egg will hatch and it'll become some kind of spiritual god or whatever. I don't know. But I think that's what the empire was. But that's kind of a weird theory to think about, Now all of these are alleged, so don't come after me, anyone, like I said. Link you in the title, allegedly. It says Says the Lord in 2012, allegedly, you know. So, yeah. I think that's all for today. I don't think I have any more conspiracy theories. And, you know, let me know if y'all want a part 2 with better conspiracy theories. One's probably more scary, more spooky, more really weird ones to wrap your head around. Like the egg theory. I think that's a pretty weird one to think about. But anyways, bye guys. Hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, because I know it's coming up in 2 days. Sorry, it took me a moment. And obviously come back December 14th, because I have a video planned for that day. It's really important that you come back that day. And if you don't want to know what December 14th, that's my birthday. So when I post a video that day, you better wish me happy birthday, okay? Bye!